Look closely at the spiraling staircase of gold before you, because it is not merely an illustration of wealth but a terrifyingly accurate map of the human condition and the silent tragedy that is currently unfolding in your own life right now as we speak. Most people look at this image and they see the gold and they see the ascent and they think that the man at the top is the winner and the man at the bottom is simply unlucky or lazy, but that is the surface level interpretation that keeps the 99% poor and broken. The reality is far darker and much more governed by hidden laws of physics and psychology than you have ever been told. Notice the man lying shattered at the base of the structure. He is made of the same gold as the others. He has the same potential. He had the same ambition. He is not made of mud, he is made of gold, yet he is broken. Why? This is the question that defines the trajectory of your entire existence. The answer lies in the concept of the Great Filter. In astrophysics, the Great Filter is a theoretical barrier that prevents civilizations from advancing, but in the realm of human success and the architecture of the mind, the Great Filter is a psychological and biological mechanism designed to shatter you the moment you attempt to rise above your station. You see, the staircase is not just a path, it is a centrifuge. As you climb higher, the rotational force of life increases and the pressure on your mind multiplies, and the gravity of your old identity pulls at your ankles with a force that is mathematically impossible to ignore. The man at the bottom did not fall because he slipped. He shattered because his internal structure was not dense enough to withstand the pressure of the ascent. He was gold on the outside, but he was hollow on the inside. This is the trap that catches almost everyone who attempts to change their life. You believe that success is about acquiring more. You think it is about adding skills or adding money or adding connections, like stacking bricks on a wall, but the hidden rule of the staircase is that ascent is not about addition, it is about density. To climb, you must become harder. You must become colder. You must condense your spirit into a form that cannot be cracked by the winds of isolation that blow at the higher altitudes. Look at the figures climbing. They are not looking at each other. They are not holding hands. They are singular. They are focused. They have accepted the brutal truth that the journey to the top is a journey into solitude. The shattered man tried to carry his old self up the stairs. He tried to bring his comforts and his insecurities and his need for validation and his emotional volatility with him, and the weight of that baggage combined with the increasing gravity of the climb created a structural failure in his psyche. He broke not because the world was against him, but because he violated the physics of success, which state that you cannot occupy a higher reality while holding on to the density of a lower vibration. This is why you feel that resistance every time you try to improve. You wake up motivated and you start to climb, and for a few days or a few weeks you make progress and you see the glimmer of the gold beneath your feet and you think you have finally escaped the gravity of the average life, but then something happens. A crisis occurs. A distraction appears. An old habit resurfaces with the force of a tsunami. This is not bad luck. This is the staircase testing your structural integrity. It is the universe shaking you to see if you are solid or if you are hollow. If you are hollow, you will shatter just like the man in the image, and you will spend the rest of your life piecing yourself back together, wondering what went wrong while looking up at the people who kept climbing with a mix of envy and resentment. You must understand that the climb is not designed for your happiness, it is designed for your evolution, and evolution is a violent process. It requires the death of the weak parts of yourself so that the strong parts can survive. The golden stairs are not a gift, they are a test. They are a filter. And right now you are standing at a threshold where you must decide if you are going to be the climber who hardens his mind into steel, or the dreamer who remains brittle and eventually breaks under the weight of his own unfulfilled potential. The scary part is not falling. The scary part is realizing that you were designed to fall. Your biology wants you to stay on the ground where it is safe and predictable. Your brain is wired to conserve energy and avoid the pain of transformation. To climb is to declare war on your own biology. It is an act of rebellion against nature itself. This is why it feels so hard. This is why it hurts. You are fighting millions of years of evolutionary programming that is screaming at you to stop, to sit down, and to be safe. But safety is the illusion that precedes the shattering. The man on the ground thought he was safe until the moment he broke. The only true safety is in the strength you build by climbing through the pain. Now that we have established the brutal reality of the climb, we must dissect the invisible force that actually caused the man to shatter, because if you can identify this force you can neutralize it before it destroys you. This force is what I call the entropy of the soul. In thermodynamics, entropy is the measure of disorder in a system, and the natural tendency of the universe is to move from order to chaos. Your life is a system. Your mind is a system. Left to its own devices, your life will naturally drift towards chaos, towards poverty, towards mediocrity, and towards decay. This is the default setting of the human experience. To build wealth, to build a powerful body, to build a legacy is to create order out of chaos, and this requires a tremendous amount of energy injection. The moment you stop injecting that energy, the entropy takes over and pulls you back down. The shattered man in the thumbnail underestimated the constant, relentless pull of this entropy. He thought he could coast. He thought he could take a break. He thought he had made it far enough that the rules no longer applied to him. But the hidden rule of the infinite staircase is that the higher you go, the stronger the entropy becomes. At the bottom, the chaos is slow and sluggish like mud. You can be lazy for a week and not lose much because you have nothing to lose. But at the top, the air is thin and the margins are microscopic. One slip in judgment, one moment of emotional weakness, one day of complacency results in a catastrophic fall. This is why you see famous people and lottery winners and unexpected success stories rise up so quickly and then come crashing down in flames. They ascended physically, but they did not ascend internally. They entered a high-pressure environment with a low-pressure psychology. The differential between the pressure outside and the pressure inside caused an implosion. This is the biological trap. Your nervous system is calibrated for a specific level of stress and a specific level of reality. If you are calibrated for poverty and you suddenly find yourself on the golden stairs of opportunity, your nervous system will panic. It will interpret the success as a threat. It will scream that this is unsafe. It will induce self-sabotage, not because you want to fail, but because your body wants to return to the homeostasis of the struggle it knows so well. You are addicted to your own struggle. You are addicted to the feeling of being the victim. You are addicted to the narrative that it is hard. The man on the ground is comfortable in his brokenness because now he has an excuse. He can say, "Look at me, I tried and I fell, so now I do not have to try anymore." The brokenness becomes his shield. But the men who are climbing have stripped themselves of all excuses. They have realized that the pain of the climb is preferable to the anesthesia of the fall. They have rewired their dopamine receptors to find pleasure in the friction. This is a critical concept. Most people run from friction. They want the smooth path. But on a smooth surface you cannot get traction. You need friction to move upward. The golden bricks of the staircase are not smooth, they are textured with the challenges and the betrayals and the lonely nights and the failures that you must step on to rise. Every step you take is a problem you have solved. If you stop solving problems, you stop moving. If you stop moving, you die. The staircase is infinite because human potential is infinite, but so is human delusion. The delusion is thinking that there is a destination where you can finally rest. There is no rest. There is only the climb or the crash. This sounds exhausting to the weak mind, but to the strong mind it is liberating, because it means that the game never ends, and if the game never ends you can never truly lose as long as you do not quit. The man on the floor quit before he hit the ground. He quit in his mind the moment the pressure got too high. His body just followed his mind's instructions to collapse. To avoid his fate you must understand that your mind is a traitor. It will lie to you. It will tell you that you are tired when you are not. It will tell you that it is impossible when it is merely difficult. It will tell you that you are alone when you are actually just independent. You must learn to govern your mind with an iron fist. You must become the dictator of your own internal dialogue. When the voice of weakness suggests that you take a day off or that you compromise your standards, you must crush that voice without mercy. This is not about motivation. Motivation is a feeling and feelings are volatile. This is about discipline, which is a command. The golden figures on the stairs are not motivated, they are disciplined. They are machines of ascent. They have automated their success. They do not decide to climb every day, they simply climb because that is what they are. They have merged their identity with the process. The shattered man had an identity separate from the climb. He saw the climb as something he was doing, not something he was. This separation created the gap where the doubt entered, and doubt is the crack that eventually shatters the gold. You must close that gap. You must become the staircase. You must become the climb. You must realize that the gold you are chasing is not at the top of the stairs. The gold is the person you become with every step you take against the crushing gravity of a mediocre world. As you ascend further up the staircase, the nature of the challenge shifts from the internal battle against your own biology to the external warfare against the collective consciousness of the masses. This is the phase where most survivors of the initial filter eventually succumb because they are unprepared for the invisible hostility of the environment. You must understand that society functions like a crab bucket. When one crab tries to escape, the others do not cheer for it, they pull it back down, not out of malice but out of a desperate instinct to maintain the status quo. The people around you, the friends, the family, the colleagues, they are subconsciously terrified of your ascent because your success shines a blinding light on their failure. Your discipline is an insult to their laziness. Your ambition is a mirror reflecting their stagnation. Therefore, the hidden rule of social gravity dictates that as you climb you will face increasing emotional manipulation designed to tether you to the ground. They will call you obsessed. They will say you have changed. They will accuse you of thinking you are better than them. These are not observations, they are weapons. They are psychological grappling hooks thrown to drag you back into the comfort of the average. To survive this, you must undergo a transformation that is painful but necessary. You must become unrelatable. The shattered man in the thumbnail tried to remain relatable. He wanted the gold, but he also wanted to be understood by the people at the bottom. This is impossible. You cannot speak the language of the sky to people who only know the dialect of the dirt. If you try to explain your vision to them, you are casting pearls before swine, and they will trample them and then turn and tear you to pieces. You must learn the art of strategic silence. The climber who succeeds is the one who moves in the shadows, who builds in the dark, and who reveals nothing until the results are undeniable. This isolation is not a punishment, it is a quarantine. You are protecting your mind from the viruses of doubt and mediocrity that infect the crowd. You have to realize that the air at this altitude is too thin for the heavy baggage of other people's opinions. You have to cut the ropes. This sounds cruel, but it is the ultimate act of self-preservation. If you do not cut the ropes, the weight of those dragging behind you will snap your spine and you will join the pile of broken bodies at the bottom. The universe is watching to see if you are willing to pay the price of being misunderstood. It is testing to see if your vision is stronger than your need for approval. Most men would rather be poor and loved than rich and lonely. This is the biological trap of the tribe. We are wired to fear exile more than death because in our ancient past exile meant death. But in the modern world, exile is the prerequisite for greatness. You must walk the path of the Ronin, the masterless samurai who answers only to his own code. As you climb, you will notice the staircase twisting and turning, disorienting you, making you question which way is up. This is the vertigo of the void. When you leave the herd, you lose the external validation that used to tell you who you are. You are no longer defined by your job or your friends or your social standing. You are stripping away the layers of the false self. This feels like dying because it is. It is the death of the ego. The man on the floor could not handle this ego death. He clung to his persona so tightly that when the pressure mounted, he shattered along with it. To continue climbing, you must become fluid. You must be willing to let go of who you were yesterday to make room for who you must become tomorrow. You must adopt the mindset of the alchemist who knows that in order to create gold, the base metal must first be destroyed. Your old life is the base metal. The fire of the climb is the destruction. The gold is the result. Do not fear the fire. Do not fear the silence. Do not fear the loss of people who were never going to make it to the summit anyway. Keep your eyes locked on the steps in front of you. The higher you go, the colder it gets, but the colder it gets, the clearer you can see. The fog of emotion dissipates and the sharp lines of reality emerge. You begin to see the hidden strings that control the world. You begin to see that the limitations you once thought were real were merely suggestions planted in your mind by a system designed to keep you small. Now you are waking up. Now you are dangerous. We have now reached the final threshold, the realm of the absolute, where the air is rare and the margin for error is non-existent. This is where the true separation occurs between the merely successful and the legendary. The shattered man at the bottom represents the 99% who operate on motivation and desire. The golden figures at the top represent the 1% who operate on mandate and identity. The final hidden rule of the staircase is that you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. The universe is not a vending machine where you insert effort and get a reward. It is a mirror that reflects your energetic signature. If you are vibrating at the frequency of neediness, you will repel success because need implies lack. The men at the top do not need the gold, they have become the gold. Look at the skin of the figures in the image. They have transmuted their flesh into the very substance they sought. This is the ultimate secret. You must internalize the state of success before the physical manifestation occurs. You must walk with the posture of a king before you have the crown. You must make decisions with the precision of a billionaire before you have the bank account. This is not, fake it till you make it, this is, be it until you see it. The shattered man waited for the external world to validate him before he felt worthy. He waited for the money to feel secure. He waited for the applause to feel confident. This is the fatal error. By waiting for the external validation, he gave his power away to the world and the world crushed him. The climbers kept their power. They generated their own gravity. They became the sun around which their reality orbits. As you take these final steps, you must accept the terrifying responsibility that you are the sole creator of your destiny. There is no luck. There is no fate. There is only cause and effect, and you are the cause. This realization is too heavy for most minds. Most people want a savior. They want a lottery ticket. They want a guarantee. But there are no guarantees on the infinite staircase. There is only the promise of the struggle and the glory of the conquest. You must fall in love with the boredom of consistency. The grand moments of victory are fleeting flashes in a lifetime of grinding. The man on the floor wanted the highlight reel, but he could not stomach the behind-the-scenes footage. You must be different. You must find a savage joy in the daily execution of your duty. You must view discipline not as a restriction but as the highest form of self-love. Because when you discipline yourself, you are protecting your future self from the pain of regret. And make no mistake, regret is the heaviest burden you can carry. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. The shattered man is now crushed under the weight of his regret. He will lie there for eternity analyzing his failure, blaming the stairs, blaming the shoes, blaming the weather, but deep down he knows the truth. He stopped walking. That is the only crime in this universe. You can stumble, you can bleed, you can cry, you can rest for a moment, but you must never ever stop. The moment you stop, you begin to calcify. You begin to die. The staircase goes on forever because your growth goes on forever. There is no finish line. There is no retirement from excellence. The day you think you have arrived is the day you begin your descent. So look at the image one last time. Burn it into your retina. See the broken man not as a tragedy but as a warning. See the climbing men not as heroes but as blueprints. You are the architect. You are the builder. You are the climber. The gold is waiting, but it will not come to you. You must go to it. You must claw your way up through the resistance, through the doubt, through the darkness, until you break through the clouds and stand in the light of your own potential. The choice is yours, and it is being made in this very second. Will you step up or will you shatter? The stairs are indifferent. The universe is watching. The time for hesitation is over. The climb begins now.